Duncan's anguished call for liberty pierced through the stillness of the hospital ward. His turbulent emotions were laid bare, revealing the depth of his attachment to her. Liberty promptly returned to the ward, her presence offering a sense of solace amidst Duncan's turmoil. Outside the ward, Mrs. Lewis and Mr. Lewis exchanged meaningful glances. They understood the unspoken bond between Duncan and Liberty and respected their privacy during these moments of tension. Despite their son's irritable behavior, they recognized his genuine desire for Liberty to stay and care for him. Sitting together outside the ward, Mrs. Lewis expressed regret for her initial stubbornness and reluctance to accept Liberty. She acknowledged that Duncan was no longer a young man and that, unlike his peers, he had not yet started a family. She realized that finding someone he cared for deeply was a rare and precious occurrence. Mrs. Lewis confessed to her husband that her earlier objections to Liberty were rooted in societal expectations. In their social circle, people often sought partners from similar backgrounds and financial standings. Marriages were often seen as unions between families, and the concept of marrying for love was sometimes secondary. However, Mrs. Lewis recognized that her extreme measures had backfired, leading to Duncan's car accident. She now understood that the most important thing was her son's happiness and well being. Mr. Lewis offered his perspective, acknowledging the complexities of modern relationships. Mrs. Lewis observed that, even in their elite social circle, few people could afford to be as open minded as Tanya. Mrs. Lewis, in a moment of reflection, admitted that while she still believed in the importance of family background, she was no longer insistent on her son marrying into the right family. She acknowledged that the most crucial factor was the compatibility and happiness of the couple. She realized that love could bridge gaps in family backgrounds and that personal growth and development were essential for maintaining a strong and fulfilling marriage. As the conversation continued, Mr. Lewis praised Liberty, recognizing her positive qualities. He noted that she was a caring and dedicated person, and he believed that she genuinely cared for Duncan's well being. Mrs. Lewis agreed with her husband's assessment, admitting that her perspective had evolved. She emphasized that at this point, her primary concern was her son's recovery and happiness. If Duncan found happiness and stability with Liberty, she was willing to accept their relationship. In conclusion, this chapter delves into the changing perspectives and attitudes of Mrs. and Mr. Lewis regarding Duncan's relationship with Liberty. They recognize the depth of Duncan's feelings and the importance of his happiness. Their willingness to reconsider their stance on family background and accept Liberty for who she is reflects a significant shift in their thinking